Hey everybody, today's question for you. Let me ask you, do you change your own oil? The reason why I ask that is me personally, I do not change my own oil. I don't even know how to change my oil. I wouldn't even know where to begin to change my oil. I'm sure there's a lot of mechanics out there that would uh, love to watch me out front trying to change my oil, and probably pretty comedic. It's just not something that I'm into. It's not something I want to do. It's not something I know how to do. I didn't take auto mechanics in high school like a lot of people did. I took 3 years of German, which basically did me nothing because I couldn't remember 3 words if I wanted to, let alone make a sentence. But I don't change my own oil. Here's a couple reasons why. One, first and foremost, I just don't want to. It's not something that I have any desire to do. I know it needs to be done. I know it's important. I get it done on a consistent basis, but it's not something that I want to do. The second piece is, as I mentioned, I have no idea what I'm doing. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I'm sure there's some YouTube channels out there that could really kind of walk me through how to do it, and I could probably learn enough to be dangerous. But right now, I have zero knowledge. So I'll be starting from scratch. No bad habits, right? And the third thing to consider is I don't believe I do as good of a job as the professionals. They change oil for a living along with other things. They probably know my car better than I do. And they probably think it's pretty comedic to watch me jump out there and try to do their job, right? So the reason I bring this up, you're probably like, Jason, where are we going with this? Well, sometimes when somebody gets introduced to me and we have a couple conversations and they want some guidance, and based off of their current situation and what some of their goals are, I'll supply some guidance and give them some advice. Maybe it's inside of a financial plan, but there are some times when people come back with, hey, I think I'm just going to invest my money myself, or I'm going to do it, whatever it may be, on my own. And one of my roles as a financial planner is to challenge people's way of thinking. Because if everybody knew what to do, like, I wouldn't have a job, right? There's a lot of financial professionals that wouldn't be needed. But the reason why we have a job is because I'm the professional and I know what to do when others don't. And that's typically why people come to us seeking that type of guidance and advice, and want to tap into that experience and the years and years and years of working with people, doing things over and over and over again when they have one shot at making a decision. So I really challenge them when they say, hey, I'm just going to do it on my own. Well, I ask them those three questions to consider. And I say, look, hey, do you want to invest your own money? There's a lot of pressure that comes with that. It could turn into a situation where you're making emotional decisions. One reason why I don't manage my own money, puts me in a position to where I'm emotional with my own money in a way that's different the way that I care about, clients' assets. So do you want that pressure? Do you want to be the one responsible for growing your assets? Do you want to take the time to do it? It's going to take time out of your day and your life to do the research that's needed in order to make those proper decisions. And can you remove the emotion from those decisions that are needing to be made in a very emotional time? So it boils down to, is something that you actually want to do. And for some people, they have a real interest in investing and growing their wealth and things of that nature. So I tell people, if you're really excited about investing, don't necessarily do it with your nest egg. Here's 10 grand, 50 grand, whatever it may be, and open up an E-Trade account, open up a basic investment account, and then you can buy and sell and do things of that nature. But unless you're a professional, it's tough to, like, I could go out there and probably play around with a go-kart and change the oil and not screw up too many things. But on my day-to-day vehicle that I'm going to transport my family in, I'm not going to take that level of risk. So always ask yourself, that's something that you want to take on. So let's assume for a moment that the answer is yes, Jason, I think I do want to do that. Well, I guess number two, do you know how? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know how to invest? And there's a lot of platforms out there that do make it relatively simple. You can go on those platforms and buy almost anything today. But when you're looking at long-term planning, when you're looking at that, especially with retirement assets that have to last you the rest of your life, those I think take a little bit more due diligence. They take a little bit more finesse and strategy. And with basic investments, the 20 grand you might have in a non-qualified investment account that you're buying some stocks in and trading here or there. it's not as imperative to get it right as it is with your overall retirement nest egg. And I've used the analogy before. When you're planning for retirement, and you're looking at your retirement nest egg and how much you're saving during your working years. We're playing chess. Playing checkers. All of us are playing checkers. It's a simple game. I could teach my daughter how to play it in probably 3 minutes. The reason why I say it's simple is when we're working, we're making as much money as possible, and we try to save as much money as possible. There's not a bunch of strategies that you're looking to implement, during your working years. But when you transition into the last few years of retirement, and then especially into retirement, that's when you transition from checkers over to chess, where it becomes much more intentional. There's strategy involved, and you're thinking several moves ahead. Your decision today, how is it going to impact your financial life 5, 10, 15 years from now? And if you're married, how's it going to impact your spouse's life after you're gone? So many different things to consider. So when I pull that back to, do you even know how to invest your own assets? I challenge most people that they probably don't. They may have some of the basic understanding. Look, I have the basic understanding of the oil in my car. I know there's a hole that it drains out of, a hole that I put it in, and I can only put so much, and I need to get the right type. But other than that, the actual details of it, I don't know. And could I learn? Absolutely, I could learn. But again, it goes back to step one. I really don't want to. So do you really know how to invest your assets is that second level of consideration. And the third consideration is, do you feel like you're going to do as good of a job as the professionals? And some people out there might, but it's probably the minority of us. Most of us are not going to be able to outdo the people that do this every day in their professional lives. So that is probably the most important consideration. You might be able to, have the desire to invest your own assets. You might think to yourself, I want to do this. I know how. I have an account. I know how to place trades. I know how to deposit money. I know how to withdraw money. So you have the basics down. But are you truly confident that you're going to outperform somebody who does this for a living? And I know some people are thinking already, well, it costs money, right? You have to pay financial advisors and wealth managers and financial planners a fee in order to invest my money. Why shouldn't I do it myself? Well, you're going to be getting a lot of value with that money. It goes back to the oil change. Look, I pay anywhere from $80 to $100 to get my oil changed. But what I also get with that is not just an oil change. I get advice on other items in my car that may need maintenance, whether it's a loose fan belt, an air filter inside that needs to be replaced, or something else. I'm getting some additional value. And that's what you should expect from anybody that you pay a fee for. So especially when you're working with a financial professional, they're going to be the ones that you're going to be able to call to get advice for, to help with other financial decisions. And they are going to do a better job at guiding you typically than we are going to do of guiding ourselves. And it goes back to what our roles are as financial professionals. And one of those things is to remove the emotion as much as possible from the decision-making process. And it's tough to make a quality decision when emotions are involved, whether they're good emotions and euphoria or bad emotions, the world is ending, or anywhere in between. It's tough to remove those emotions from that pile of money that you have worked so hard your entire life to save, and now you've got to make some significant decisions. And investing it yourself, just because Joe at work manages his own money, doesn't necessarily mean that you should manage your own money. I've worked with plenty of people that change their own oil. I have yet to change oil in my car once in my life. So it's not about what everybody else does. It's about what's best for you in your situation. And very rarely are we personally in a position to make that decision for what we think is best for us. We're biased. It's our life. It's our four walls. We are emotionally tied to that, and it's tough for us to make that truly confident decision. Every decision that you make, whether it's financially driven or professionally driven, whatever it may be, really needs to be rooted in education. And do you know everything that you need to know? Do you know everything that you could possibly know in order to make the best decision? And at the end of the day, when you work with a professional, you are relying on them, that they have all the knowledge that they need in order to make a decision that's in your best interest. And one thing a professional is going to have, that regardless of who I'm talking to right now, you're simply not going to have, is the experience that they have in working with other people. There's nothing better than having an experience with another client that may have happened a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, that when I'm sitting down with that current client, I think back and say, this situation is almost a mirror image. I know exactly what's going to work because I've tried it with other clients. I've been in a position where I've done it inside of a financial plan. I've executed something and I've seen it in action. I've seen it work. So when you're sitting down with a professional, they have that experience. You've never tried planning for retirement. You've never put together a retirement income plan. You're getting ready to do it for the first and hopefully only time. So working with a professional that does it for a living, that has changed the oil in many, many vehicles, they're going to be more efficient. They're going to have that experience. They're going to know what works, what doesn't work, what's a pretty good idea, what's a bad idea. They're going to have all of that knowledge before you even walk in the door. So when you think about, gosh, I'm going to pay this person a fee, I don't know if I really want to do that. A fee is only an issue absent of value. So if that person's not giving you any value, if they're not telling you anything that you don't already know, it doesn't mean that you should not work with a professional and get that professional guidance and tap into that experience. You just need to find a different professional. It goes back to a previous video that I had where it talks about 3 things that you need to have before you work with somebody. You need to know them, you need to like them, and you need to trust them. And part of that trust is knowing that they have the experience that they can tap into when dealing with your unique situation. Remember, they're not a captive of your 4 walls. They have seen many people's different 4 walls, and that's that experience that you're paying for is them tapping into all the different solutions they've used over the years. So again, I don't go to the same people for my oil change all the time, but I know that regardless of where I go, I'm tapping into the experience of that person and that they've worked with many different vehicles, and that they're not going to ask me, hey, I can't find where your oil goes. Can you hop out and help me out? Because they're choosing the wrong person to do that, because that is not this guy. So again, when you go back, as we bring things kind of full circle, you want to put yourself in a position to where if you can afford to not do something on your own and you have somebody that you know and you like and you trust, work with that person. Feel confident in working with that person. Even though somebody else might be doing it differently, that's completely okay. Your situation is your situation. It's unique. It's unique to you. It may not be unique to the rest of the world. Some things that we go through personally, we think, gosh, we're the only person in the world that is dealing with this or has this situation. It's just not true. And our rational side knows that, but the irrationality of some of the moments that we have going on in our heads, sometimes skew our decision-making process. So, rest assured, there are plenty of professionals out there that can help guide you through, investing your assets. And again, more than likely, if you listen to the rational side, rational you will explain to the irrational you that, yeah, they're probably going to end up doing a better job long term. So take advantage of that. It's not always about outpacing the markets or getting a better return. It's about the value provided from the relationship. Is that somebody that you can call and ask them questions like, hey, I'm getting ready to buy a car. Where should I pull the money from? It has nothing to do with rate of return. That just has to do with getting proper guidance on a financial decision that's key for you. Not every decision is as pressurized as pension elections or Social Security benefits. It's those small financial decisions that if you don't get that advice and that guidance from somebody, you may put yourself in a position where a year or two down the road, you really regret the decision that you made. I know I've been there. I've paid for things at the time that I thought I could afford, but looking back, it was maybe I overstepped my bounds. I spent beyond what I should have, or I loaned the wrong person too much money. Whatever it may be, it's those financial missteps because at that time, 0 people that I trusted to get any level of guidance from. So put yourself in a position to find that person that that you like, and that you trust, and they'll help you make those decisions. And they can really take the pressure of investing, off of your lap. You've worked way too hard to save what you've saved to wing it on your own, especially when there's people out there that will do what's in your best interest and honor that fiduciary responsibility. So look forward to sharing many more stories with you guys, and hope you found value in today's video. Hey, enjoy the rest of your day.